What's up everybody, I'm Zach Evans and today I want to talk about left hand, right hand coordination problems on piano and exactly how to fix it. Now this is one of those issues, pretty much every single beginner piano player struggles with this and it's really not their fault, and I'm going to show you how to fix it and the systematic process of learning to fix it. Now most beginners get like this stuck feeling when they're working hand together coordination, that kind of stuck in the mud, like you're just spinning your wheels and no matter how much you practice, you can't seem to get it together. And I know that exact feeling. I remember it where literally like I would look at my hands and I'd be like, these are my hands, but I feel like I don't have control of them. And it's the most just frustrating, mind-numbing feeling that I've ever had like practicing piano. And the worst part is a lot of students literally think in their brains that their brain just isn't wired that way, or they can't get hands together, they're just not good at it. That's 100% false, and I hate it because this is the first hurdle where a lot of people quit because they think they can't get it. But I've never had a student, if they follow the process and if they keep practicing through the system, that hasn't been able to get hands together coordination. I'm going to tell you a story about that in a little bit. So watch the end of the video. I'm going to show you exactly how to absolutely dominate your hands together coordination by using 80 specific hands coordination exercises and a process I call the 8-step gauntlet process. Watch the end of the video, we're going to go through all of it. But first I want to tell you a story about one of my students. We're going to call him Chucky. I told him, I wouldn't use his real name for this, but Chucky is what you call a tough case. Now everybody struggles to some extent with hands together coordination. Chucky just could not get it. And we tried everything. We tried smaller sections. We tried slowing it down more, and he could just not pick it up. And it was so frustrating for him. And I mean, literally it was like to the point of tears, like not actually crying, but like I could see the tears start to well up in his eyes because I would just say, okay, do it even slower. And he just could not get it. So finally I said, okay, forget your song, Chucky. We're just going to work. Can you do this, right? Can you literally tap both hands at the same time? He's like, yeah, of course. He did that. And then he said, okay, how about this? Let's notch it up incrementally. Can you do this? One, right, both, right, like that. He's like, yeah, I can do that. And we kept incrementally speeding up his progress, after a couple weeks, and then eventually we got his hands on the piano, did the same thing. Very simple at first, hands together, and then slowly changed the pattern. It wasn't a song, just these exercises that would come up for him week after week. And after a few weeks of this, we went back to his actual song. All of a sudden, with barely any practice, he could get it. He got the hands together easily. And I just saw his eyes light up, because he's been so frustrated with this his whole piano career. And now he's finally getting it because we're doing these exercises to help him out. So then I started using this on my other students. And I said, okay, don't make it a big thing. Just spend 5 minutes a day on these exercises and every week get a little better. And it would help them so much in their actual songs. All of a sudden they're blowing through, getting hands separate to hands together with ease. And that's when I kind of had like the light bulb moment and the epiphany that kind of I was like, I get why hands together is frustrating and why it's difficult. And it makes so much sense to me now. It's not your fault if you're struggling with this. You're probably just practicing wrong and you don't have a system to learn it. Here's exactly what I mean by that. So it actually makes perfect sense if you think about it. So think about our brains. There's been so much scientific studies that show we can't focus on, 7 different things at one time. We can't multitask like that. We really want to focus in on one aspect at a time. And when we learn a new song, we have to focus on the melody, the rhythm, the key signature, the time signature, and getting hands together. That's 5 things, not even including other things like accidental and stuff like that. So what we want to do is we want to take out those other variables and make those very easy, the melody, the rhythm, all that stuff, so we can just focus on the hands together coordination aspect of the playing. And think about it, in every other aspect of piano, we already do this, right? If we're learning play by ear, technique, sight reading, we always incrementally step it up. Take technique, for example. The most common technique that's widely accepted among piano players is scales. Why do scales work? Because there's no rhythm, right? It's just literally straight 8 notes. There's no melody. It's literally just like steps up the keyboard. So that way we can just focus only on technique. We can focus on our wrist motion and how we're playing the notes. That's why it works. We can zero in and focus on one. So wouldn't it make sense for also hands coordination to do the same thing? Where we're not focusing on all these different aspects, but we're breaking it down and just focusing on one aspect? That's why it's so frustrating. So I'm going to show you exactly how we do that. All right, so here we are on the website, and this is a course I created called the Hands Together Domination course. I always try to call it something cool like that. Anyway, so as you can see, there's an introduction, and then there's a goal sheet and staying motivated. That's this. We're going to talk about that later. And then here's the most important part, the exercises and level links. Now, as you can see, there's 10 levels. Each level has 8 different exercises. And the important part is each level very incrementally and systematically steps up the difficulty. So if you look at level 1, it's right hand simple block chords, left hand simple block chords. It's very easy. It's very easy. Level 2, it stays the same except the right hand moves to simple melodies, right? So you got the block chords kind of down. Now let's do simple melody. Level 3, the right hand now stays with the block chords and the left hand has a melody, right? Level 4, now we're going back to only block chords, but it's more complex. And as you can see, every level gets a little tougher, just incrementally tougher. And then there's also bonuses. We'll talk about that later. But if we go to the actual lesson, so if we click on level 1, it's going to go here. And as you can see, there's exercise 1.1. It has the sheet music. And if you don't like to read sheet music, no big deal. I have a video of literally me playing, so you can literally just copy it. Exercise 1.2, and it goes all the way through exercise 1.8. And what you do is you just practice these exercises for 5 minutes a day. If you really want to ramp up your learning curve, you can go 10 to 15 minutes a day, but don't stress yourself out. You know, all it takes is 5 minutes a day consistent. And as you can see, the first one is very simple. I mean, this is starting from square one. It's literally just quarter notes. It doesn't change at all. And 1.2 is slightly harder. Now there's a couple rests in there, but still very simple. And it slowly gets harder and harder. But even at the end of level 1, it's still relatively simple. It looks something like this. But then we want it to be simple at first so then we can slowly ramp it up to harder ones later and you don't get frustrated. And under that, there's troubleshooting in the 8-step gauntlet process. This is actually, I think, the most important part of the course. Now what this is, it's a series of steps and practice exercises you do, and you run it through the 8 steps. And by the end of the 8 steps, you'll have it no problem. If you don't, you'll have it a lot better so the next day you can work on it again. But you don't get frustrated. You just say, okay, I can't get it. Not going to get frustrated. I'm just going to run it through the gauntlet, see what happens. So for example, one of the gauntlet exercises is tapping it. That's like level 1, right? And then you go to level 2, level 3. And the 7th step is actually probably the most powerful step. But a lot of times you won't even get to the 7th step because you'll be on step 4 or 5 and all of a sudden it'll click and you'll get it. So that's what the 8-step gauntlet process is. All right, so now what I want to talk about is the ultimate goal sheet. So that's this sheet here, which comes with the course if you get it. And as you can see, there's the 10 levels here and all the exercises here, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and so on. Now the purpose of this sheet is to keep you focused and motivated on exactly what you need to practice. Now it looks confusing, but it's actually simpler than it seems. Every level, there are 3 goal tempos you want to hit, right? A bronze tempo is, for example, in level 1 is 60 beats per minute on a metronome. Silver is 120, gold is 160. So what you do, you take exercise 1.1, which corresponds to this exercise, and you see if you can play it at the bronze tempo of 60 beats per minute. Start your metronome. If you can get it, then you cross off this box. Boom, then you move on to silver, 120. If you can get that, then you cross off this box. And what will happen is then the next day when you sit down and practice, you might say, okay, 1.1, I have bronze and silver crossed off. I don't have to work those slower tempos. Now I'm going to move on and try to ramp it up to the gold tempo. Or once you have one exercise crossed off, okay, I don't need to practice any of that anymore. I can focus all my efforts on these other ones. And it's also motivating because if you get stuck on one and you're like, dude, exercise 1.4, I just can't get it. I have it at silver, but I can't get gold. You can just put it on the back burner, say no big deal. I'm going to work on level 2, start getting these all at a slower tempo, the bronze tempo. And oftentimes you'll go back to level 1 and the gold tempo will be easier because the level 2, it's a little more complicated, but you're playing it slower. You see what I'm saying? And once you have all these boxes checked off, then it's like, okay, my hands together coordination is there. It's good. So it's a very motivating way to learn this kind of stuff. So if you're ready to just take care of this aspect of your playing once and for all, I am selling the course. You know, I'm trying to make a living off what I do, but I am making it really cheap for you guys. Most of my courses, they're like $597 lifetime access on my website. This course is going to be much cheaper because it's like a gateway to piano. This is the first big hurdle. A lot of people don't even get over this hurdle. So I want to make it cheap because I really think it's so important for beginners to at least get past this step so they don't quit. So I'm going to sell it for only $15, but you can actually get it even cheaper because since I just launched it, for a while I'm gonna offer it 50% off. So it's literally gonna be $7. I literally got a Big Mac meal at McDonald's yesterday and fries and a drink, and it was $7.09. So I was like, okay, let's sell this course for literally less than the price of a Big Mac meal at McDonald's to make it accessible to everyone. But I am gonna raise it back up to $15 eventually, so you might wanna get it now while it's still cheap. And I'm also gonna offer 3 premium bonuses with the purchase of the Hands Together Domination course. The first one is Lightning Fast Piano Scales audiobook. This is my best-selling ebook turned into audiobook form. That way you have something while you're doing dishes or working out or driving to work. You can just plug in the earbuds and listen to that and still learn some more about piano while you're just doing something where you couldn't practice anyway. And the second bonus is a premium webinar, the Lego block method. It's a method I learned from a lot of YouTubers that they use where they can learn songs without sight reading and without playing by ear using music theory and chord structures and stuff like that. That's going to come free with it. And another premium webinar, my play by ear webinar, which will give you an intro and an overview on how to learn to play by ear. So you get all those 3 included with the Hands Together Domination course. All right, so here's how you get it. All you have to do is click the link below. You're going to take to this page, and you can see right now it's still 50% off and $7. Now, when you go to this page, if you get it a lot later on, it might be back up to 15. But for now, it's $7. So all you do is enter all your information. You can see the course down here. It's $7. Hit submit and get access, and instantly you'll get access to all the exercises, the goal setting sheet, and all the bonuses. So even if all you got for $7 was the 8-step gauntlet process, I think it'd be worth it because that's something you can literally run through a protocol, a system, and not just use it on the exercises, but really use it on songs in real life. If you're having a song you're struggling with, you can just take it and run it through the process and learn that song hands together. But of course, it also comes with the 80 exercises, it comes with the goal sheet, it comes with the 3 bonuses and everything. And it also comes with, like any other course on my site, 60-day money-back guarantee. If this doesn't help you, I really don't want to take your money. I would feel guilty about it. My grandma would wave her finger at me. So all you have to do is email me and say, look, I didn't like your course, I want my money back. I'd be happy to give you your money back. So for those of you already signing up, once you hit submit and get access, you'll be taken to the download page where you have your Lightning Fast Piano Scales audiobook MP3 here. You can just click on it and it'll download. And then the 2 links to the bonus webinars here. And then step 3 to log into the actual course. Your username and password will be sent to you by email. And once you do that, you'll instantly have access to the course, all the lessons, the goal sheet, and the bonuses. There'll also be a link here to go to the bonuses. So just to recap, for $7, you get the full Hands Together Domination course, which comes with the 80 exercises, the 8-step gauntlet process, and the ultimate goal sheet, as well as the 3 bonuses, the Lightning Fast Piano Scales audiobook, the Lego Block Premium Webinar, and the Play by Ear Method Premium Webinar, all for $7. But remember, eventually, I'm gonna raise that price to $15, so I'd get it now while it's still cheap. Click the link below right now and sign up.